Hi, this is Mark from LongIslandWatch.com, and today I want to talk to you about Citizen watches. I haven't done many Citizen videos, and that's kind of weird, you know, since Seiko, Citizen, and Orient, I generally consider, I think most people consider them to be the top three Japanese watchmakers. So, you know, I've done a video on the automatics, because generally that's what you folks want, is automatic watches. But I wanted to just do another video today on just three Citizen watches that kind of just show a breadth of what they offer besides the auto dress that I kind of push very heavily because it's a great affordable dress watch, and the divers that, you know, the Pro Masters and that stuff that everybody knows. I'm going to show you three EcoDrive watches, and they'll just give you an idea from the sporty side, the dress side, and the casual side. You know, all affordable and all just, you know, spot-on watches that I would say only Citizen can deliver. I do feel that with certain things like second-hand registration and little nitpicky things that people really get on with watches, I think Citizen does a really good job on nailing that stuff. My own wrist check, what am I doing today? I'm doing the Mako XL that came out of hiding for the Mako video that was recently posted, and the 007 Super Oyster edition. You know, you guys say, oh, you know, you make it really hard for me to see it. But I just don't wear my watches tight. You know, this is the way I wear them. They're kind of dangly. So sometimes they slide down the wrist, and I apologize for that. Let's get on over and check out a couple of Citizen watches. So as I said in the intro, I wanted to show you three different Citizen watches that kind of show you a breadth of what they offer. Obviously, the brand needs no introduction. It needs no help in any of that regard. But from a store standpoint, you know, I continue to see the same models constantly selling, and I want to show people, hey, there's more to it than $110, you know, Miyota-powered dress watch, which is an awesome watch, and it's easily the bestseller of the line. So I took three. I've got one that probably doesn't need an introduction either, the Nighthawk. It's an international edition, so it doesn't say Nighthawk on the dial. I've got a smaller, kind of like an everyday, not really a dress watch, it's like an everyday fun watch, if you will. And then I picked a nice dress watch. I want to show you each of them in turn, and since this one's in my hand and it happens to be blue, we will start off with it. So this is Citizen model number AW2020-82L. It is an EcoDrive, so it's powered by light. When fully charged, it will run for around 6 or 7 months. When it needs to be charged, oh, it's doing it now, see that, because it's pulled out of the box? The second hand will tick in 2-second intervals. That's the watch's way of telling you, hey, get me some light, I need to build up a little bit of a charge. So maybe while we're talking, it'll switch over to regular ticking seconds, but anyways, we will continue. So like I said, it is an EcoDrive. That's that J30 caliber movement. Now, it is a titanium watch. It is super light. It is 85 grams. Super light. And it's not just any titanium, it's what Citizen coined super titanium. It's some kind of titanium and ion plating that makes the titanium super hard. Because I know a lot of people with titanium watches, one of their biggest gripes is that titanium does scratch with relative ease. So they've done it in a way where it is, let me get the number right, it is 1200 on the Vickers scale, which is 5 times more scratch resistant, if you will, than stainless steel. So it's functional, it's beautiful, and hopefully it stays that way. And of course, you pair it with a sapphire crystal. That's how you make sure it stays good, you know, for as long as possible. So we will go over the specs. It is 41 millimeters in diameter. That's from here to here. It's 9 millimeters thick, so there's not much thickness to it. And it is 47 tip to tip. So easily works on a variety of wrists. It is 5 atmosphere water resistant. It is a pop back, so obviously you're not going to go diving with it, but who would? It's a dress watch. So we did the size. The lug is it's an odd 23 millimeter. So, you know, I guess it is obviously Citizen's own bracelet that goes on here since it matches the case. So maybe you won't be swapping it out, but I guess if you wanted to, you could. It is a solid titanium link bracelet with a nice double push button clasp, signed of course. I had mentioned the weight, like I said, super light, 85 grams, which is like nearly half the weight of most other watches of a similar size. And then of course, that beautiful blue radiant dial really pops. Probably my favorite part of the watch. I believe we also sell the same model in a gray dial, but this is the blue dial. You can see it. We'll zoom in on it now. You can see just super nice, beautiful blue, and the sapphire will keep it looking, looking beautiful and new for a long time, as well as that quote-unquote super titanium. Kind of a weird word, but that's what watch companies do. They make up weird words for materials that they kind of create or kind of mash materials up. So the price on this one is $249, which I know you might say, oh, it's a solar quartz watch, $249, but you got to consider what you're getting. You're getting titanium, not only titanium, you're getting this quote-unquote super titanium, the beautiful dial, sapphire crystal. With all these watches, obviously they're all EcoDrive. You'll never have to change a battery. It just charges from the light, so you never have to worry about it being off time or needing a new cell. So let's move on to the next one. So here's another EcoDrive, but less than it being a dress watch. I think it's more of like an everyday sport watch with the kind of the khaki or sometimes khaki, olive drabish nylon strap. So it's got a beautiful black dial, again with the sapphire crystal. This one's far more affordable at around $160. EcoDrive movement will go for, again, 6 to 7 months on a full charge. You'll notice here we've totally dropped a second hand. So if that's kind of your thing, I had a friend in college who couldn't stand a second hand on the watch. He said it really has no point because it's not accurate anyway. So yeah, I hear you. So no second hand here. So much more simple. It is a stainless steel watch now. We're at 38 millimeters in diameter, so much smaller. 8 millimeter thick, and it's 46 tip to tip. You can see the lug stick out a little bit, so it will wear quite well. And again, we'll do that later when we do a wrist check. The lug itself is 18 millimeter. So while 18 millimeter right now is not a size strap that we carry, it's extremely popular. You could probably find a number of straps that you could swap it out for, whether you wanted a leather or another nylon, whatever you want to do. It's got the same kind of case back as before. It's a pop back. It's around a 3 atmosphere water resistance, 100 feet, 30 meters, whatever you want to call it. Basically, it's just the minimum amount of water resistance. But is that not just super nice? We carry this watch in a couple of different dial colors. The 38 millimeter, I think, is the real winner here, and that is the selling point. I think I mentioned the price. I'm not sure, so I'll just say it again. It's $160. Obviously, we also have a date feature. There you go. And again, because it's EcoDrive, it's set it and forget it. It will be accurate, and you'll never have to change a battery. And that will bring us to the last one. So the last watch I want to show you today is the Citizen, I'm going to kind of call it the Nighthawk. It's a ProMaster watch, EcoDrive again, and it is it runs on Cal B877, but it is model number BJ7010-59E. And I say Nighthawk because that's what we know it as in the States. But if you look at the dial, the Nighthawk wording, is notably absent. You just saw me screw down the crown. It is a 200-meter water-resistant watch. We'll get up to the case back in a second. Let's go over the specs really quick. We have another EcoDrive movement powered by light or the sun. It retains a dual time function. That's this kind of half moon feature right here, and I'll get into how that operates in a minute. It is 42.5 millimeters in diameter, 12 millimeters thick, and it is 47 tip to tip. It's a stainless steel case. It has a mineral crystal and a nice, really a nice bracelet, almost akin to like an end mill bracelet from Strapcode. Nice bracelet, 22 millimeter lug, so you can easily swap it for anything else you might want. And as I mentioned, the 200 meters water resistant by that screw down crown. So let's get into the watch itself. One of the things about the watch, I guess, that makes it appealing to people is the slide rule, the rotating slide rule that I'm doing now. You can go back and watch the prior watch and learns. I did do a slide rule video of how to use the computational slide rule on the watch. In this, yes, you can actually do many calculations with it if you so desire, but I think for a lot of people it's really just the look that is cool. This is the first watch we're looking at today, or the only one I should say, that's got lume on the hands and markers, so let's check it out. Glows very nicely. It even glows, if you will, a little bit blue. I'm just going to reach over. I have my 007 sitting here. So that's Lumabrite in my right hand, upside down Lumabrite. So you can see it's much more blue than Lumabrite. Super nice looking. I mean, it'd be nice if Seiko used a lume like this, huh? Very easy to read. Certainly jumps. It'll be easy to read the watch in the middle of the night or in a low light situation. Flipping it over, we can check out the case back. We'll zoom in on it. And you can see the case back is really nicely etched with a good bit of relief. I know there's some, people ask, is it the way the photo shows, or is it just kind of etched like these words around here? It's not. It's actually, it's almost engraved, I guess you would call it, but it's certainly engraved by a laser. So Citizen, EcoDrive ProMaster, and then the rest of the information is written around that. Screw down case back, of course, for the 200-meter water resistance, and you can see the nice solid end links for the bracelet. We'll zoom in on the dial a bit, check out the dial itself, applied markers. I struggle a little bit with the color of the dial because it's kind of black, but not really. I'd say it's even more of a deep charcoal. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull up the model that I showed you previously that is definitely black, and you can see there's definitely a quality difference in the black. I don't know, I think some people even call it a deep, deep blue. I think I'd struggle with that one, but it's certainly not a glossy black like a Submariner or something like that. The watch has obviously hours, minutes, and seconds, and then I'm going to just set the time. I'm going to move the time, I should say. Let's get all the hands out of the way so we can look at the dual time. So the dual time is, you obviously have the main time, which is your hours, minutes, and seconds I just set at the second click. Now there's this little red airplane here, and on the other end of the same arm there's a white airplane. I zoomed out a bit for you. So these obviously are on the same arm, and to set the time, whereas a lot of watches, when you go into dual time setting mode, you change the secondary time zone. Here, this is not how the watch works. It's a little bit different. When you go into secondary setting, you are actually changing the main time. This time you have to set yourself, the GMT time. So you would set whatever you want it to be. The red hand is pointing, and let me go over that, right? Obviously the red hand's pointing to the red numbers, and then when the white numbers come around, the white little plane comes around, he's pointing to the white numbers. That's your AM and PM. So to set the second time zone, you first will change that alternate time zone by just turning the hands and getting the time that you want. Whether that's going to be your local time or your away time, whatever you want it to be. And then when you come out one click, one way will change. Whoops, I already showed you the surprise. One way will change the date, and the other way will change the main time hour hand. Now what's really cool about this is that you're not screwing up when the date flips, because no matter where you are, when you go past midnight, the date will flip again. So the watch is actually keeping track of where this main hour hand is. So I think that's something super nifty. But just when you set it, it might just be a little backwards to the way you're normally used to, but I'm sure you'll get used to it. So what I'll do next is I'll pop each one of these on my wrist, and you can take a look. So here is the Nighthawk. It looks good. 42.5 millimeters or so, 47 tip to tip, which is well within my realm of wearing a watch, and certainly looks the part, looks rough and rugged, and of course, being EcoDrive, it's always ready to go. So the next one up is that 38 millimeter watch, that everyday watch, and obviously not a problem at all. Fits great, excellent fit, very light, even though it's steel on the nylon strap, extremely comfortable. And the last one I've got for you is that titanium one. I want to talk about light. Oh my goodness, this thing is like a feather. Still ticking away at 2-second intervals, but if you leave it out for, I'd say, a couple hours or so, it'll start to build up a charge. It doesn't take long, especially in bright sunlight. Bright sunlight, I think, is less than a day or so to get a full charge up. It fits great. The tip to tip is perfect. Really, really nice dress watch. This one is a definite standout. You should even check out the charcoal dial one. It looks just as awesome. Oh, before we do the closing, I'm not sure if I mentioned the price of this one. It's around 240 bucks. And now we're done. So this has been Mark from longislandwatch.com showing you some Citizen watches, something a little bit out of our normal ordinary, if you will. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not done so yet. If you have any questions or comments, please put them down below, and I'll be sure to address them as soon as I can. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.